Hey guys, my name is Megan, and I'm 13 years old. My father always used to say, "A friend in need is a friend indeed." Little did he know what his friend would do to him one day. Let me tell you how it all happened. Our family is totally ordinary, and it's just my mom, my dad, and me. My father runs his own business, which is really successful. He worked with his partner Daniel, who was one of his best friends as well. Daniel was almost a part of the family, and he always participated in all of our family events and holidays. He had my dad's full confidence, but last Christmas Eve changed our lives completely. We were having a big party with all of our relatives and friends, and it was so much fun. My father has always been the life of the party, but that day he was a bit moody. After everyone left, I saw that my father and Daniel went out to the balcony together. I was cleaning the table and accidentally eavesdropped on their conversation. I didn't get much, but I heard my dad say, "Today is the same day I left her." And I guess Daniel was fully aware of who her was because he said, "Maybe it's time to finally call her and learn the truth." To which my dad replied, "No way." I was just rattled. Did my dad have a woman on the side? I had to uncover the truth. The next morning, I bumped into Daniel at our doorway. He'd come to pick up my father and take him to their office. I grabbed his hand, dragged him into my room, and demanded explanations. And it didn't take long for Daniel to tell me the whole story. He told me that my father had been married to another woman many years ago, but their relationship was not really good. Once they had such a big fight that my father left and never ever came back, despite the fact that his wife was pregnant. And he never found out if she had the baby or not. And this question has tormented him for years. I just listened to all that with my mouth wide open. I held my breath and finally asked if there was actually a baby. Daniel paused for a few seconds and then said, "Yes, there was." It turned out that he also knew my father's ex-wife and called her that very evening after the talk on the balcony. My father had a daughter. Her name was Sylvia, and she had already turned 19 years old. You might be surprised, but I was so excited to hear that part of the story. I could only imagine how happy my father would be. And for me, having a big sister has always been my dream. Now we just had to tell my dad the news. And besides, Sylvia was looking forward to meeting her father. I thought he was about to faint when he heard everything. I think he had mixed feelings, but I persuaded him that everything was going to be just perfect. That very day, we made a phone call. I picked up the phone and heard the sweetest voice ever say, "Hello, sister, how are you?" In a few days, Sylvia came to our house for dinner. She was very beautiful and looked so much like my father. She was so friendly and adorable and easily got along with him. We became friends immediately. We just couldn't stop talking. Sylvia was the best sister I could have ever dreamed of. She would come to see us every weekend, and we made a great family all together. Once, my dad asked her what her mother thought of all of this. Sylvia said that her mom was a difficult person. She was okay with the situation, but she said she wanted to neither talk to nor see my dad, ever. And to tell you the truth, Dad wasn't really disappointed at all. It's been a while, and Sylvia had become an inalienable part of our family. One day, we all made our minds up to go to the park for a family picnic. My dad and my sister wanted to pick me up from school, and my mom was supposed to arrive later because she was very busy at work. I was waiting and waiting, but nobody came to get me. I called both my dad and Sylvia, but there was no answer. I got really worried and called my mom. She couldn't reach them either. So she came to school to get me, and we rushed home to find out what had happened. I also called Daniel, but for some reason, he didn't answer me either. When we got home, we saw that my father's car was there, which meant he was still at home. I quickly opened the door to see my father lying on the floor. I fled to him, and Mom called an ambulance. But he woke up before it arrived. He said that he was just drinking tea with Sylvia and Daniel when suddenly he felt bad, and then he couldn't remember anything. But they were both not in the house. Sylvia was gone. No matter how we tried to reach her or Daniel, they never answered. What happened? Why did they leave? All of a sudden, my father started to check his pockets. Then he sprang quickly to his feet and rushed to his study. The door was wide open, and so was my father's vault and all of his drawers. All of my dad's money was gone. The only thing that was in the drawer was a folded letter. He took it out with his hands shaking and started reading. He went pale. It said, "I want you to know it was me. I want you to feel the same pain I felt when you married a woman I was in love with. I'm not being a number 2 anymore. P.S. How did you like the sleeping pills? Yours, Daniel." My father was just standing there frozen when his phone rang. It was the bank manager. He told my dad that all the bank accounts for my dad's company were closed and asked if the company was having any problems. Daniel didn't have the hardware key. Dad kept it at home, hidden. So how did he even do that? After a while, my father came to his senses. He confessed that Daniel was madly in love with his ex-wife, Sylvia's mother. So much so that he never married anyone afterward. But it happened so many years ago. Dad thought they had figured it all out and left the story behind them. But where was Sylvia now? Did Daniel kidnap her for revenge? We had to do something and, of course, to inform her mother that her daughter was in danger. But my father was absolutely lost and helpless. So I asked him to give me his ex-wife's number. He reluctantly gave me his old phone book, and I found the number. I just had to hope that it was still right. I keyed in the number and called. My dad listened to her voice, nodded, and gave me the phone back. It was her. I burst into tears and told her everything right away. I asked her not to worry and promised that we would do everything we could to find Sylvia. And then she was so confused. And then she said, "I don't know who Sylvia actually is, sweetheart." And that kind of took my breath away. I asked her about the baby she was supposed to have many years ago, and she said she had lost it. My heart just sank. Sylvia was not my sister or my father's daughter. She was just someone who helped Daniel steal Dad's hardware key. She must have been watching my dad when she was staying at our house, and then she gave away all the information to Daniel. My father's fake daughter Sylvia and Daniel never showed up again. Ever. And the police haven't managed to find them either. They must be living somewhere out there under different names and enjoying my father's money. There's no need to even mention that my dad's heart was completely broken, as well as mine. We both still need a lot of time before we are able to trust someone and to believe in true love and friendship again.